I think every generation has a wake-up call, whether it was the Depression, Pearl Harbor, the Kennedy assassination, maybe 9/11, maybe 2008. But there's also individual wake-up calls that change your life. And I always thought every young man had to have one. I always thought it was men somehow, maybe because of my generation. I had a class that I taught one time on narrative and identity. They all had to write a 10-page narrative at the beginning of the class that I came to call the naive narrative. Because almost every single one of them was a story of this happened to me, and then this happened to me, and then this happened to me, and then this happened to me. And I asked them, what's the opposite of a patient? And they say, oh, doctor. I go, no, the opposite of a patient is an agent. A patient is someone to whom things happen all the time. An agent is someone that does things. Now, hopefully the class helped teach them how to become an author of their own lives. But this story is about my having that happen to me. The inkling was when a buddy of mine, Chris Toll, flat-footed, bow-legged, bad adolescent acne, and certainly not an athlete, had an epiphany one night and decided that the next day was get it together day. A week later, he's dating Janice Emery, who was previously dating the president of the senior class, who was the quarterback of the football team. I asked him, how did you do it? His response was, I made her laugh. I think he also showed her that he had balls, because no one else would, ask her out. But it took me longer than that. I thought I was hot shit. I graduated from high school a semester before all my friends did, and I took on 6 classes at Purdue University, a fairly heavy load, and thought I'd deal with it. I'd show them all. But all my friends were going through senioritis, getting stoned 3 days a week and tripping every other weekend, so I kind of did too. Our prom was going to Johnny Winter at a college in the area, eating marijuana brownies, so that was fun, but what's prom? Why does people get so excited about prom? What's the big deal? But I graduated no I didn't. I graduated 6 months before they did. I ended my semester at Purdue about a month before they did, so I was kind of lonely because they were doing all senior high school stuff, and I was done with my semester. My girlfriend was already talking about going to Europe with her friend, and she's really busy with all that shit, and I didn't get quite the grades I thought I was going to get, to be honest. So I was a little bit demoralized. So I thought, I'm going to be a member of the proletariat. Maybe it was Working Man's Dead. Maybe it was the Rolling Stones song Factory Girl. But I had an interview at Essex Wire. I was going to start my job at Essex Wire the night of the senior graduation party. Essex Wire sucked. Essex Wire was an assembly line factory where you had between 6 and 8 wires that you had to put on this framework as the assembly line went by you, and if you got behind, they had to stop it to let you catch up. I was not good at that. The old timers were helpful. They said, you get used to this, and still it kept happening the first 2 hours until my 15-minute cigarette break. Another 2 hours till a half-hour lunch break at 8 p.m. This is a night shift. Another 15-minute, and then at midnight, I left more exhausted than I've ever been in my life. The next week came by, and I was getting better, but I was still not entirely caught up. But seeing these people's faces, their eyes were hollow, their faces empty, and the old-timers, Jesus Christ, I don't want to be one of those fuckers, that's for sure. My wake-up call, you're not a working man, dude. It's time to wake up. I quit after 14 days. Painted my parents' house that summer before going to Indiana University, where I got my shit together. That was my wake-up call. It said, dude, this is not what you're doing. I go to class, I do my work, I take a dinner break, I do my work until it was done. Most of my friends are just starting to do their work about that time, so I was in a good shape then, and I had extra time to finish things that took more time than you thought they would. Or you could do extra stuff because nobody else was ready to party. I took Friday night to Sunday noon off every weekend. I was still going to have a good time. And by the end of that semester, I got my first 4.0. I was a fucking god. And in fact, I graduated at age 20, did a senior thesis in psychology. I was in a graduate course in anthropology where my roommate put on my name tag, boy PhD. I was a little embarrassed about that. But I got my PhD at age 26. And I've had a 40-year-long successful career as an academic psychologist. My wake-up call. And I get a reminder every time I drive down 230 in Mount Joy and see the Mount Joy wire factory and think, that's where the zombie apocalypse will start.